it's time to get into the real nitty-gritty of what went on today and this weekend. Peter, take it away, man.
Well, where do we want to begin? Is it?
Let's begin at Anfield. Let's begin at Anfield.
Leave me alone. Liverpool 1, Arsenal 0 at Anfield. You know, two teams hotly contested for the title this year. Adrian's boys took the 3 points. AD, man, talk to us, man. How did you win this game?
Well, you know what? Yeah, it felt like, obviously not for the neutral, I'm sure, but it felt like a proper slobber knocker. Like it felt like two super heavyweights sizing each other up, and you're just waiting for one of them to land the fatal blow. I think all it didn't necessarily have was the needle, and like those are like necessarily like a built-in rivalry, but it felt big. But what I will say, from a quality perspective, oh my god, that like at times was horrendous. It was like Burgess Park on a Saturday at 12 p.m. Honestly, it was really, really bad. I think the way Arteta set up, Arteta essentially said, "Yeah, guys, we're not coming in to win this game." You know, nasty midfield, and then equally, I felt, you know, some of the players who I would have looked to have made a difference. Let's start, you know, Mo Salah. He's let's call it spade. He's been off it this season. Florian Wirtz. You know, I can't lie to you. If I spent £160 million on a man, I like all of this adaptation, all of this, he's young, all of this, let him get to grips with the league. That's what I paid the premium for, isn't it? I paid that premium to ensure like he's ready to go. But obviously, I think it did sort of show sort of quality glimpses. But yeah, we need, obviously there's obviously more from him to come. I thought McAllister was diabolical, like he just weren't fit. So I felt, you know, as I sort of said, you know, from a quality perspective, I felt this game left a lot to be desired. But I thought, from a league chasing perspective, to sort of to dig in, to be resolute, to be hard to break down, and then when you're resolute enough to stay in the game, you've got a moment of brilliance. And it's funny. Do you know what's funny? I kid you guys not, yeah? On Thursday, Oscar launched a Sabosly agenda, a Sabosly right back agenda on Thursday. On Sunday, he's slapping at top bins in the title decider. Yeah, well, yeah, go on. Yeah, I think, yeah, go on.
Well,
No, you're in. I'm going to speak. Yeah, speak.
I voiced valid concerns to you. I didn't start an agenda. I asked you, is it the midfielder you told me that was going to be the next Steven Gerrard? Is his destiny right back? That's why I asked you.
Oh, fair enough.
And that question
He did still.
That question still remains. You think a free kick's going to change that? That's what Agent told me. Agent told me Gerrard was a right back too. That's
We already started. Number 28. You don't remember that? Yeah, but I think obviously I guess we can get into the reinforcements later. But I think, you know, title clash for me it was imperative that we won this game. It would have been disastrous if we lost, and I think a draw doesn't necessarily tell us anything. So I think the fact that we're 3 for 3, despite not necessarily looking great, hopefully now we sort of get in after the international break and we just win. And we just try and build up a buffer zone and let's retain our league title, baby. So yeah, man, that's basically how I'm feeling after that game. I think it was a game that left a lot to be desired in terms of quality, but I think we showed a lot of champion instincts within that game. So to not concede, and then to B, to just find just a moment of magic, a spark, a bolt of lightning, just something to win the game, and then Sabosly goes and produces that.
Fair enough, Lola. What was your thoughts on the game at Anfield?
I think I mostly agree with Amy. What I will kind of small difference is I think Arteta came into this game trying to bore away into a 1-0 and then hold. If you've watched a lot of Arteta's game against Big Sixes, he does this a lot where he kind of, specifically away, at home it's different. Specifically away, he tries to kind of get a 1 goal, preferably in the first or something like that, and then just kind of like be his usual kind of just overly pragmatic self. He came into this game definitely cowardice because he can still do this kind of thing where if he had the same sort of lineup but taking out like Marino for an Eze or whatever it is, and then it could still sort of be the kind of pragmatic thing. So he did go into this kind of, in my opinion, slightly cowardice, because I think the kind of talk about how the onus was on Arsenal to try and to take it to Liverpool, for me, is stupid, because you're the away team to the champion Liverpool. The talk that Arsenal were meant to win is that, don't get me wrong, you go into it to try to, because you're one of the teams. Like City would always try to win this, but it's not, the onus is not on the away team to beat Liverpool. You want to, but this whole talk where it has like Arsenal was supposed to go there and take it to Liverpool, I'm like, that's dumb, because we've done it before, we get slapped. It's damned if you die if you don't. If you go there and open up, people will say you're naive. You sit there and kind of trying to. So it's damned if. So I think Arteta came into this thing saying, "Cool,
yep,
business the system, all that stuff. We know how to do that kind of stuff. Bore it out. Try and get a one goal and then smother them." Because for the most part, it sort of worked. Because in my opinion, Liverpool weren't good. And I'm not saying that we were, but it wasn't a game where I can say like, "Oh, Liverpool were peppering us and we were holding on to nick a one goal" kind of thing. I think even in the first half, technically, in my opinion, based on how it was playing, I think we were slightly the better team in the first half, not like monumentally, but if you want to look at it like kind of narrative, yeah. Second half, we kind of almost stayed the same. And Liverpool slightly turned up when Jones came on enough to get the free kick, which is what won them the game. Other than that, I don't think this game on the showing was going to end 0-0 if it wasn't for the free kick, which is where the quality can come in. I called it when it happened, by the way, but that's by the by. I don't think anyone particularly was great. I think Sabata had a good game. So even without the free kick, he probably would have got man of the match. But I don't think anyone had a particularly I think Gabriel was great, but he normally is anyway. I think Raya, bar the kind of slip that he had that was for the offside one, but I don't really care because it was an offside. The defense did their job there. Bar that, he wasn't going to save that, so people were trying to do the whole thing like, oh, Raya should have. No, he wouldn't have, because no one said the same thing when Courtois got packed in by Rice. No one mentioned anything about how the keeper should have done better. And he's like technically 6 of 10. And free kick, it's a great free kick. Raya didn't do anything. It happens.
No. What about when he passed it to Van Dijk? You didn't think that was?
No, he passed it to Van Dijk. He didn't pass it to Van Dijk.
I'm going bad. No, you're right. Yeah, I'm going bad.
And then Van Dijk was there. If it happened, always, the pass was always on. Just for once, Mendy got done. That wasn't the right thing. So like I said, I thought Gabriel was good. I thought, what's his name? I was getting his name in it. The 21-year-old Spanish black guy we got started a bit kind of here, but he grew into that game. I don't remember his name, but he's new.
Mosquera.
Yeah, he had a very good one. I thought Calafiori shocked me. He was like very resolute. He had a very, very balanced, very good game. I was terrified that he's going to just like vacate that spot, and he did very well. Salah was us as well, but even still, I thought our midfield was poor. I think Zuma started well and then faded later. Rice's delivery was nonsense, and Marino is just a slow body. The attack was exactly how I expected it to be, in the sense that it wasn't good because you had zero creativity on the pitch. And then when you lost Saliba and outlet for our long balls in behind, which would have helped, you only had one person there to even sort of attempt it in Mendy. Other than that, we had nothing. So Martinelli was bad. He was bad. Gyökeres had nothing to do in this game, as in literally, you know what his thing is. In behind, one touch, you fed him nothing. Noni was our best attacker, and even him, I thought he had a better game, but his final delivery wasn't anything for me for desirable to be saying that he was great either. So it was a game of like mixed bag. I think if we would have started with like an Eze, I'm not saying we guarantee would have scored a goal. I think it would have been better, because you even saw within the 10-minute cameo that he had, he already did way more than damn near everyone else on that pitch. So it's one of those ones where Arteta was a coward, and then you get that this game was very much so. Like I said, I think he aimed for a 1-0, but the issue with trying to do that is that you're susceptible to a 1-0 loss as well. Obviously, a 0-0 draw was like kind of on balance of play would have been fine, because I don't think anyone was good either side. If it ended 0-0, no one could have complained. But like this kind of playing so close to the margins, a moment of magic could kill either side, and that's what happened. So I didn't personally have a head loss over it. A loss happens. Didn't want it to happen, obviously, but it can happen. So it is what it is. I'm not like worried like crazy. I think I'd be more worried if you play this exact lineup against Forest, for example, which is our next game until in afternoon. If he plays the same midfield, then I'll actually care. This one, it was annoying because I wanted a bit more impetus. It didn't happen, but other than that, it is what it is, really.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, do you know what? The first half for me, I thought Marino was always going to start in my head. I always thought he was going to start in this game, especially with Odegaard out. Eze being new, we don't know exactly what the long-term kind of first 11 will be, whether there will be a first 11 long-term, because I think the amount of players we have doesn't mean that, it's like a Pep Guardiola Man City kind of in their heyday where, when you had a fantasy team with Man City players, you just couldn't bank on everyone starting every single week. But I thought the 11 was okay because I think I don't know if I mentioned it on the pod or not. I might mention it in the group chat, but I always thought Martinelli will start because of how good he is at Anfield in terms of Liverpool's high line. He can be quick. He can cause some chances. He can cause some danger. Didn't really do much at all in this game, at all whatsoever. And that one moment when he broke through, he's got two on his right, and he somehow keeps sidestepping to the left. And I was just thinking, dude, you're not helping me here. I'm trying to defend and back you, and this is what you're giving me. This is difficult to back. And it might be the last game he plays, in all honesty, in terms of starting. I think it might be the last one he starts. But Marino had a job where he squashed Alex McAllister, and AD mentioned about how poor Alexis was. And in my mind, I was like, do you know what? That's because Marino's done a very good job over there. And the fact that in the first half, Arsenal had a lot of control in that first half. Not necessarily that they had all the ball or possession, but just the fact that they never looked in danger, really. Second half comes in, Oscar's mate comes on, Marino goes off, and what's ironic is we lose all control. We lose everything. And, Come on. Who've been arguing and debating? Who came on?
Your captain. Have some respect.
The glue, he calls him. He calls him the glue.
The glue.
Oh, we didn't. That wasn't because of Odegaard.
Say that again?
He was the one who made chances when he came on.
No, but he was more. It's more the risk. Not that Odegaard was at fault for lack of possession or lack of control, but when Odegaard came on,
walk it back.
Not walking it back. I'm just saying it as it is. When Odegaard was on the field, because obviously it was Odegaard and Eze. So Eze is on the left, right? And then you have Odegaard in the center where Marino was playing. And one thing that Marino had locked down was that he had Liverpool's midfielders kind of not locked down, but he looked after McAllister. Wirtz, he could leave Wirtz alone, and Wirtz literally did nothing for Liverpool in that game. Because of the brain on the pitch. Odegaard comes on and tries to because he knows he has to be the difference maker. So he comes on and he tries to take the ball forward, but it causes more problem. We had holes in that midfield when he came on.
One thing you're ignoring is the fact that it wasn't McAllister in some pitches. It was Jones. Odegaard came on after Jones did, so it wasn't the same job. The job that
probably not. No, it wasn't the same job.
That's what I'm saying. That's why it's like it's a slightly different kind of way to look at it, because you can say that Marino did good in the midfield to kind of squash McAllister. I actually think McAllister was bad. It wasn't just like out of possession. He was passing the ball off the field, and that had nothing to do with Marino. He was just having a bad game. So
I saw it as Mikel, as in Marino. I saw Marino actually just being able to read the pitch a bit more, because every time McAllister did make a misplaced pass or didn't do necessarily anything in particular, it's because he was kind of locked in. He was kind of locked out by the Arsenal players. When you go back and watch how he was trying to move the ball, he was poor in execution, but was not left with much option in the midfield to give it to somebody else. Because in previous games, they didn't play with Gravenberg. They had another attacking midfielder side by side. So maybe they thought, maybe he's sort of playing balls thinking, oh, it's still Szoboszlai maybe in the midfield, or it might be AD, you remember this. Your first game of the season, you had two almost attacking midfielders in your central midfield positions, and I forgot who they were. You had it at Palace, and then you had it at Bournemouth. I forgot who it was, but it was almost like the team got used to playing in that way. Gravenberg's first game was this one, wasn't it?
But Newcastle.
Oh, did he play Newcastle? Apologies, it was Monday night. But it seemed to me like Liverpool had a certain idea and a way of playing at home that they thought they could run until Arsenal came to town, and it was like, no, that's not the game you're going to play. If you're going to try and play and be flamboyant and play your football, one thing we can count on, as boring as it may be, is Arsenal will shut you down at your ground. And they know how to do that well. And in order for Liverpool to even get 3 points, something spectacular had to happen in that game. And And that's what it took. At the end of the day, I don't think neither team looked like scoring. Let's have it right.
In my opinion.
And I would argue, do you know what I would argue if I was to be really cynical and be like, do you know what, if I was going to be more on the negative side of things, this is exactly what I saw at Old Trafford with my own eyes. I went to Old Trafford watching this team not create chances, not give Gyökeres the ball, right? The only difference is that Liverpool didn't have chances like Man United did. United had a lot more chances, and that's why I gave you in the performance against United, I gave it a 4 out of 10. And I said, this is shambolic. Liverpool didn't actually create chances themselves because I think our back 4, back 5, even in central midfield, including Marino and so on. Liverpool, I don't remember Ekatike having a shot. I don't remember Salah having shots. And I don't remember Gakpo having shots. Do you know what I mean? So we had a much more solid base. And you know what Mikel is like? When he he needs to see a therapist, because when he goes through a scenario whereby when he sees trauma, he makes sure he goes back to where that trauma took place and he arrests the situation in the sense of he doesn't deal with the problem. He just says, I'm not letting that happen again. Does that make sense? So the idea of when people criticize Arsenal for we should go and take it to Liverpool, we would have been dressed down. We would have rest at Anfield. If we go over there and try and give it now, don't get me wrong, I do think it was a missed opportunity in all honesty, only because Liverpool are not set. It's not that Liverpool are not good, they're just not set yet. It's game 3 and their players are still gelling together. By game 10 and 13, oh my God, this team will be off to the races. And that's where the missed opportunity really comes, because if we played them game week 15 and we did this performance, we would be lauded for this performance. But the fact that it was game week 3, whereby the players are not quite gelling, and the thing is, what's funny is everyone talks about how Liverpool got new players. They got Kirkes, they've got Wirtz, they've got this, that, and the other, and they're not at their best yet. But so we've got a bunch of new players as well. Let us gel. You know what I'm saying? Let us have a little gelling time. Let us actually mix and blend a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I looked at our bench and I thought, bloody hell, there's 4 number 10s on the bench. What's going on here? What's going on here? Or 4 attacking midfielders, let's argue for argument's sake. Ezra's on the bench, Ødegaard's on the bench, Waneri's on the bench, and for argument's sake, Dalman. And I don't know what Dalman's doing before Waneri.
Yeah.
I think that one is showing proof that I think Arteta's set position.
Yeah.
So his thing was if the wingers, I'm not going to put Ethan on the wing anymore. It's either in the middle or not at all. So that's the only thing logic I think is
But in that case, do not put Ødegaard on that pitch. It's time to drop this guy. I don't know when we're all going to jump on the train.
That's such a disgusting take.
It's not a disgusting take. If you're gonna, I would rather play Waneri or Eza in the 10 than Martin Ødegaard today.
Doesn't make sense.
How does it not make sense?
Because the chances and the way that we move, you need Ødegaard for it. There's a reason why I'm a massive Ethan and Dalman fan, but there's a very clear reason why I don't think they should be started yet. Because those two don't know how to properly pass and move and actually read situation for chance creation. Ødegaard does. Hence why when he came on, you saw very clear in terms of the attacking phases, you saw the stuff as well as Eze on the wing. There's a very clear difference with it, and that's what it is.
Do you think Eze was bought for the wing? Do you honestly think that?
I think Eze was bought for just attack. I'm saying for a specific game why when he came on for the wing and it was him on the wing and Ødegaard in the middle. Ethan has a fantastic left foot. He can drive. He's got all these potential stuff, but he's still got issue with holding on to the ball. His incisive passes still got issues. Same thing with Dalman. They're both very good carriers, and because of their age and their experience, they're still not new and they haven't got the nous for the actual chance creation, pocket holding. That's fine. They're 18 and 15. That's what's going to happen.
Dalman shouldn't touch that field at Anfield, though. Come on, you agree? Dalman should have been nowhere near that.
I wasn't mad at it. I just
keep on.
No, I was just going to say, that's my only thing. I would have just kept Noni on and taken off one of a fullback or a midfielder for it. That's my only thing. I was fine with Diamond coming on, so I got the idea of it. It's just
honestly, I didn't. I genuinely, because I didn't think that, we're either, I think, was it 0-0 or was it 1-0 when he came on? Can't remember.
Diamond came on the 80th, if not 90 something minute. He came on barely.
Okay, he came off late, right? So what was you thinking when you brought him on? You can't have thought he would give you more of an impact than Waneri
Because they're not the same type of player. Dalman is more of he's way more of a winger than Ranieri is. He's a bit more direct about it and a bit quicker. So I think that's what it is. And also, I think he's just also was thinking Dalman knows how to win a penalty.
Yeah, and a raw, and he almost did. He almost did win a penalty.
It was like, try it. It's the last man thing. Just throw it on and see what happens.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing then. That's what we're doing.
I think Arteta wanted Dalman to get the record as well.
Well, the goal thing. I mean, I don't think so.
No, I mean,
the
record that he won.
No, Pete, you finish your points because I got a few questions for you Arsenal fans. Really.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, not major. I want to know like what was your opinion, your feeling. So, like David said before when the lineup came up, and you saw basically seven defenders, three DMs, and all that stuff. You had, like you said yourself, you had 4 10s on the pitch. What is making Arteta think he can't even put one on? Because I am sure you can put at least one on, and you can at least do more. Because, like you said in the first, you had a great first half, but I thought the attacking. I thought the attacking wise it lacked severely throughout the whole game for Arsenal, and I think taking it to them, you could have done. You generally could have, but I felt Arsenal went in there. And this is why I said in the group chat, I said, it generally looked like you guys were playing not to lose.
Do you know what, Robin?
Get a point. Yeah.
Do you know what, Robin? It's purely because Ødegaard got injured in the last game that he didn't play. He didn't start this game. I think if Ødegaard was fit, he plays this game. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think he plays with it's Ødegaard, Rice, and Zubimendi. So Marino comes in because of the fact that if Ødegaard's not 100%, do I throw Eze in that?
Yes.
To begin with,
yeah.
No, to be honest, we've become Lola. You've become accustomed to this. We've become accustomed to seeing Marino play in games before he was centre forward.
Did he play on the right though? Wasn't it normally on the left? Not on the left that he normally plays.
You know what? So check this right. Hear me out, Lola. Yeah, because one thing I've seen about Arsenal's midfield. And do pay attention to it in the next couple of games in case I'm mad or watch back, whatever. The formation has changed in the midfield. I think we play with 2, I don't want to say 6s.
No,
I don't want to call those, but I think we play with like 2 6s and a 10 or an 8 up front.
Yeah, we're playing with pivot now. It's more of a pivot.
Yeah.
Why you don't play, you can't play.
Exactly. So to me, Moreno was the 8-10 in that position. It was the support striker to give Gyökeres a bit of a hand, but also deal with Liverpool's midfield. Because as far as Mikel was concerned, Wirtz, McAllister, Gravenberch is hell on earth at Anfield. How do we deal with that?
Do you know what it is? The reason why I hear you, but why it was dumb, was because if you're going to, firstly, what's his face? Moreno can't play 10, so it's dumb. But if you're going to forcibly force that giant useless man there, you can't play. Yeah. One of those wingers can't play. And that's the situation. If you're going to play that front three, you have to by force play either Eze or Ødegaard and swap them. If both of them can't play a full 90, you play one of them for a good amount of time and then swap it out later on. If you're going to force Marino to be there, then one of Martinelli and Noni can't start that game. It's got to be someone else.
And the reason I think this is all circumstantial is because I think if Eze had started, first game of the season and had done 2 games prior, I think Eze becomes the replacement for Marino. I genuinely think that. I don't think Marino was always the number one or the backup substitute. I think that the fact that Eze has just come in, it's Liverpool away. He was reluctant. If we were playing Leeds away,
he should have scored. I can't lie. He should have scored.
I'm just telling you what I think Mikel did.
It doesn't work because it wasn't like we got Eze from outside the league. He had been playing for Palace already, and he's played Liverpool before. So what I'm saying is, whilst he might be new to Arsenal, which is why I'm saying he might not play a full 90, but respectfully speaking, this is not a hindsight thing. I thought so beforehand. He could have played. He could have started this game or at least come. You know what I mean? Like one of them. Like it's a new. It wasn't like it was like who knew that we were. It wasn't like it was like Mendy's first game where you're like, he just came in from a new league. Eze's been here. He knows exactly how to play.
I would love him to play start.
He scored at Anfield.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're gonna forcibly put Marino, who can't midfield, in midfield. You can't have the front three or three.
You say you can't midfield?
midfield. I don't care what people could tell me.
That's his place. That's his position.
Guy's better as a 9 and he's a midfield. He's a midfield who can't midfield. But either which way, if you're going to have that front three of Gyökeres, Martinelli and Noni, all three of them who need assistance, obviously 2 of them more. Noni can sort of do it less, but all 3 of them basically need service. And you have no one in the midfield to give service. You're asking for nothing to happen.